Hi friends, Crystal here from Homemaking on the Homestead, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to take you along with me on another grocery trip and grocery haul for two. It's just my husband and I now at this point, and so I just want to share my hauls and what kind of things I buy. This time I did something just a little bit different than I did on my last grocery haul, and I tried to share most of the prices that I was paying for the items that I purchased. And I also showed prices of some other foods along the way too. I'm really curious right now with the way things are going, what kind of prices you are seeing. I live in the Pacific Northwest, I'm in Southwest Washington, and these, like I said, are going to be the prices that I'm paying right now. I heard somebody say that they were paying, down in California, paying $10, $11 a pound for like just a pot roast and that kind of stuff. So that's much higher than what I'm paying. But if you see items and you can let me know in the comments what you pay, I'd be really curious to know, and where you live approximately. You know, if you're in the Midwest, or you can be more detailed, but whatever. But that would be really interesting just to see what people are paying right now. So we headed out pretty early on this shopping trip. It was still dark out. My husband had a couple errands to run besides grocery shopping, and so we were doing those first before we finally got to the first grocery store. And our first grocery store was Winco. The crazy thing about this Winco is it is a different one than I typically shop at, because we were in a completely different part of the city. And I get so confused, and I don't know if I'm the only one, but you know, in my mind I know where everything is at when I go shopping, so it's super easy to just kind of go through the aisles, and I have a process. And when I go to another store, and everything's arranged differently, it just throws me way off. I don't know. Does that happen to you guys? One thing I took note of in this trip was that Winco, this particular Winco, had a lot of 25-pound bags of food set up to buy. Now, they've always had a bulk section where they have bins and dispensers, and you can just kind of measure your own food and get exactly what you want into bags. Write down the number of the bin that you got it from, and it's really easy. I've bought it that way for years. This reminded me more of the type of thing, you know, I used to buy from Azure Standard when I had my kids at home, because it was a great way to get 25 and 50-pound bags of food. And of course I haven't done that forever because my kids are all grown and gone. However, again, with the way things are going in our country, you know, people are getting more prepping minded, and maybe that's why they've set this up, because I don't ever remember seeing this type of a setup before. But they had all these 25-pound bags that you could buy. They had Mylar bags. They had plastic sealable lids for your buckets. They didn't have any buckets. But I didn't end up picking up anything. I just kind of took note of all the prices. You know, I mean, I'm concerned too. I do have obviously some pantry items, and my freezer's pretty well stocked, but it does make me stop and think, you know, maybe getting some rice and some beans and oats, just things that I would normally use anyway, and just make sure that I have those on hand. Are you thinking in any kind of prepping way? And if so, what type of items are you thinking of getting? All I ended up doing on this particular trip was just getting some rice from the bulk bin area, because I was out of brown rice. And I didn't take note of the fact that buying it in the bulk was the same price as buying it by a 25-pound bag. As I'm going through the meat department here, I wanted to share with you some of the prices of the meat, even though they aren't necessarily everything that I am buying. Mine was pretty marginal as far as what I needed meat-wise, but to look at the price of things and just give you an idea so that maybe you can tell me what kind of prices you see as well. I did want to make a quick note on hamburger. I tend to buy 73%, so it's the higher fat. I used to buy the 93 or 97 or whatever it is, the very lean hamburger. What I really noticed about it is that if I was going to make things like hamburger patties or meatloaf or that type of thing, it always tasted really dry to me and didn't have a huge amount of flavor. And maybe that was just the brand that I was buying. I don't know. But I started buying the 73%, and it's more moist. I can easily drain out the grease. And it just, to me, makes better burgers and makes better meatloaf and that type of thing. So I have in my pantry, I have it stocked to a level that works for me, as far as things like ketchup and mayonnaise and olives and that. And so what I typically do is I have it arranged by date, so the oldest dates sit out closer to the edge, so I can use those up first. And then every time that I use up some, I just grab those items to replace what I already used. Now, if for some reason the deal is just so overwhelmingly great, I might pick up a few more and just kind of increase the amount I have in my pantry. Do you feel like you have a good pantry system down? And do you feel like you have a well-stocked pantry right now? As you can see, I mentioned this in my last grocery haul, we always bring an ice chest because we do live so far away from home, and going to 2 stores, we just like to keep our cold items cold. At this point, we left Winco and we headed over to Costco. One thing that I did at Costco was to kind of stock up on a couple of spices, and I still have some that I need to get, but I was almost out of pepper, so I grabbed one of those. And I love Costco's granulated garlic. At that point, it was time to load up the groceries and head on home. It was, like I said, a beautiful drive home. The leaves on the trees were all changing, and I've enjoyed that a lot. Here's just a quick recap of the things that I bought at Costco. Most of it I had probably already shown you. And the final price. And the same for our trip to Costco. All the fruit and the vegetables and the bulk goods, dairy, sugar. These are all the things that I just needed to kind of restock and get back into my house. and my final price. All right, you guys, thanks for coming along with me on my grocery shopping day, and please take the time to comment below if if you can share kind of what is going on in your part of the country for food. I personally didn't see any empty shelves. I know other people have, and I've seen videos of people showing empty shelves. In my area, we haven't seen that yet, so I would be curious of that kind of thing too. And of course, don't forget to like this video. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and you like my content, would you consider subscribing? That means a lot to me, and I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate each and every one of you who stops by and watches my videos. All right, you guys, that is all for this grocery haul, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.